I'm Joe Patrick, co-manager of DirtySouthSoccer.com, and you're watching Dirty South Soccer's 3 Keys to Victory on Dirty South Soccer's new YouTube channel. So, before we get into the game coming up this Sunday in a huge Eastern Conference final, please click below, click subscribe, the bell thing, that's what the vloggers say to do, and comment. Tell us, what you're thinking about the game. Send in questions, we'll answer them in our coming segments, and we'll have a good time here on this show. Hopefully it's something we can continue to do for every game coming up for Atlanta United. Not just this season, but going into next year, we want to do more video for you guys. So let's get into the game. It's obviously huge. Red Bulls took one away from Atlanta United on decision day, snatched it right out of their hands. Michael Parker said that Atlanta United had one hand on the Supporters Shield trophy, and they didn't get the job done against Toronto FC, and New York Red Bulls did, and they were the rightful winners of the trophy and set a new points record in MLS with the most points by any team, which was just set last year by Toronto FC, and they were declared the best team in MLS history at that time. Atlanta United, of course, tied that points mark, but New York was not enough to surpass New York, who set the record. So it's a huge battle, obviously, and we have 3 things to kind of watch out for, keep an eye on, that might determine how this game goes. Number 1, first of all, is just very broadly, tactically speaking, will Atlanta United adjust to the struggles that they had against the New York Red Bulls this season? New York really has had the better of Atlanta United pretty much, even going back to last year in club history. A loss and a draw. The loss was obviously on opening the club franchise debut game, but this year hasn't really been all that close. Red Bulls with 2 pretty decisive victories, I would say, even coming into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and winning, and then also obviously Atlanta United put up a real egg when the team traveled to Red Bull Arena in late September. So it'll be really interesting to see how they adjust tactically. Tata Martino, going into those games, always talked about how he wanted his team to continue to do the same thing they've always done, which is to play out of the back, be brave with the ball, absorb the pressure that New York Red Bulls is undoubtedly going to give, and then hopefully be able to beat New York over the top on the break once they can kind of break that initial press. I don't know if it's the most pragmatic thing to do. It's certainly probably the way you're most likely to score a lot of goals, but by adopting that approach, you're playing right into New York Red Bulls' hands. That's what they want from the opposition. New York wants the opposition to be playing the ball out of the back so that they can effectively use their press, and as Tata Martino said this week, they turn you over 2 or 3 passes in, they're in on goal, and they do it with numbers. So it's going to be interesting to see how Atlanta United adjusts to that. In my opinion, I think they should be kicking the ball long. I would especially pay attention to goal kicks. I think goal kicks is really where a lot of this pressing is triggered from New York Red Bulls. And if Atlanta United kicks it long, which they haven't tended to do this year, but if they do kick it long, then New York will be forced to play in midfield and try to win those second balls in midfield. And if they do win those second balls, and it's more likely than not that they're gonna take possession as opposed to Atlanta playing out of the back, where you're guaranteed to get possession, still, you're at least making Red Bulls play and create from midfield. You're making them have to build up. It's something Tata Martino said this week, that he said Red Bulls don't like to do it. They don't prioritize the build-up. They want to turn you over in possession. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for. Number 2 would be, does Jeff Larentowicz play or does Miles Robinson play? It's a good question. Jeff Larentowicz, we thought he was going to play. We knew he had a little bit of a muscle injury. Tata Martino said that he was questionable for the game going in 2 weeks ago against NYCFC. But he's Jeff Larentowicz. He plays in every game. He will be tied for 3rd all-time in appearances and starts in the league when he makes his next start. Will that be this week? Hopefully it is. But if it's not, Miles Robinson came in and played well last week. In fact, after the game, many players were singling him out for praise. And I talked to Leandro Gonzalez-Pirez and Miles Robinson himself today, and they both talked about how he has confidence. And if it's his turn to step in again for Jeff Larentowicz, then he's happy to do it. And Leandro Gonzalez-Pirez said that the team has confidence in him. I think there was never been a doubt about his ability. In fact, Leandro said that the team has seen that in training day in, day out. It was more of a question of whether he'd be able to mentally take charge of the situation and not be timid, having not made a start since May. So that'll be another big thing to watch out for. Finally, the last thing is how Atlanta United players will come off of international duty. Some of Atlanta United's most key players are playing in games this week, only 5 days before this huge match. Joseph Martinez, Miguel Almiron, Tito Villalba, who has come off an injury. So has Miguel Almiron, obviously, has famously come off a recent hamstring injury. Breguzan, he's also playing in a game today. Who knows if he'll play, but it probably won't be too big of a deal. He's a goalkeeper. He'll be able to deal with it. But will those other players be healthy? I talked to Leandro about this today as well. They said that, yeah, they watch these games and just kind of pray that the guys, make it through okay. But even still, even if they make it through the game healthy, will they still be their same effective selves come Sunday? These guys will be coming off of long trips. Joseph Martinez will be coming from Dubai. Tito Villalba and Miguel Almiron will be coming from South Africa. So these are long trips. These guys are going to be on long plane flights, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond on Sunday. Again, if you want, we would like to take questions on this show. So if you have any questions you want to send in, we will put a call out for it every week, and please send it to us on Twitter. You can also comment in this video if you have a question going into the second leg, but if you're watching this video, it's probably before this game, and there will probably be much more relevant questions that come out of the game afterwards. But still, get in touch with us. You know where to find us, at Dirty South Sock, SOC on Twitter. We also are on Facebook at Dirty South Soccer. Just Google Dirty South Soccer. You'll find us. It's not that hard. I think you all are technologically savvy enough to find Dirty South Soccer. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you again in about a week's time. See you guys.